Welcome to My on Mondays, an explorative approach to the possessive my through narratives, art, and sound. I'm Matt Bunk. This week we have 2 short stories and a poem by Daniel Mosakewicz. Daniel is a writer originally from North Carolina, now residing in Boise, Idaho, where he says he spends his time eating Mexican food and listening to Bruce Springsteen. Here's Daniel.
Guard. Mama always said I'd spend most of my life in jail. I guess she wasn't wrong. It didn't take long for me to realize, even as a stupid kid, that you could either be the mean bastard in the cell, or you can be the mean bastard with the stick who put him there. So, first thing I did when I got the chance was sign up to get a stick. I've been doing this a long time, not as long as the real old-timers, the ones who've given more of their soul to these old walls than most of the inmates ever will, but long enough to realize part of me will always carry this place inside, no matter how bad I try to shrug it off. Some things you just can't unsee. They killed a man here before my time. Nobody likes to admit they talk about it, but they do. The guards worry he'll slip out of a wall and slit their throat. Some of the prisoners worry he's starting to get bored. If even half the stories are true, he wasn't so much a man but a rabid dog. I don't know. There's something bad here, I can tell you that. Bad intent, bad thoughts, bad action. It's piled up for so long till it all ain't nothing but just one big heaping pile of bad shit. I don't think it matters much where it came from anymore. Suspect everyone who ever been here added their shit to the pile, whether they want to admit it or not. I hope they tear this place down, pull apart the stones and let them be reclaimed by the earth. It's the only way. If we keep bringing people here, keep showing off the shit pile, it's only going to keep getting bigger. Things have gotten so bad, so messed up by people that maybe we don't deserve it anymore. Christ, listen to me. Prison makes philosophers of us all. It's alright. I'm the last one, on the last shift. There'll be no more philosophers after this. I did 5 House first. I'm not going to spend my last time here thinking about a man I did not know who was killed for acting more like an animal than a man. I end in 1 House. It seems fitting. The first built should also be the last, like how patrol always ends right back where you started. I spend the longest staring at the scorch marks. That was a hell of a night. An honest prison riot. When I see hell, I bet the flames will look just like that. Already the grass grows, sliding into the ruins. Good. Though I know I'm alone, I do not feel so. There are too many memories here, too many people who have come and gone, even in my time, for anyone to be alone here. If I close my eyes, I can still see them, working and cussing and trying to make sense of a life that has no sense at all. By the time I see the ghost, I'm relieved to no longer be alone. I know it's a ghost. It has to be. The last time I heard about John Winston, he'd made it back to Kansas and his sister. He's a damn sentimental idiot, but not sentimental enough to be here. Not today. We stare at each other. I wonder how much it knows. I wonder if it took this form on purpose. I wonder if it can feel the wind. I thought they would leave McKinney. The voice ain't what I was expecting. It's too many things to sound like one person. When you go to church and everyone sings all at once, and most everyone is so bad at it the whole thing sounds monotone. My tongue is dry. The sun is going down. This is important. I can feel it in my bones, but I don't know why. They tried to, but the old hog said he'd rather they hang him than spend another day here, willingly or no. I'll get him, says the ghost, which looks like Winston, and I don't doubt one bit that it will. It can't help but look at him, try to see if he's doing something wrong. I think it's the uniform. A lot of guys here will tell you that it's all in the face, that they've been around criminals so long that they can tell who's done bad just by their chins. But I think it's a load of shit. It's the uniforms. They tell us a man's done wrong, so we don't have to do the thinking. It's the same reason a lot of these same guys who claim to read chins can't ever see the same actions in the women we had here. They say they do, and they said it even more when they were in the mind to do some wickedness of their own, but I don't really think so. I think if they actually understood why some of those gals were here, if they really saw murder in their eyes, they wouldn't have gone within 100 feet of them. God knows I didn't, if I could help it. All that, the fear and the unconscious understanding that I am a guard and that the thing over there is in a prisoner's uniform, must be what gives me the guts to tell it that it better get back down if it doesn't want to have the treatment get a little rougher. Is that the way you talk to John? Says the ghost. All the fight splashes out of me. Is that how you talk to him after you beat him within an inch of his life? But then the ghost turns, and it isn't John Winston anymore. It's another young man, his hair slicked back like a greaser's, and his face looks like if you punched the warts off Bogart's. There's a noose around his neck, and it rocks back and forth on its seat. Back and forth, just like he's a puppet being moved by the strings, particularly the one around his neck. On his face is a nasty grin, the kind of grin that gets a man the death penalty. Or is that just how you talk to all of them? I'm not afraid of you, I say, but I'm lying. There are whispers in the growing darkness, splinters of that rotting hole. The ghost stands, its feet slide across the stone, its head does not move. I back up, out of first house. You're an inmate, you can't stay here. But I can't leave, either. The ghost's shape changes, and it's a young woman that I don't recognize. She's bleeding, bad. When she speaks, that voice is the same monotone. You understand that, don't you? My throat's dry and my arms feel like they're in a different world. Do I understand what this is? I think I do, but it scares me so bad I pretend I don't. Things are easier that way, easier to get along with. Sometimes you've got to stop being a stubborn bastard and get on the train if you want to keep on going. It sees my hesitance, it smiles, and behind those eyes, which belong to a woman I will never meet, are all the things I know are here, all the shivers that prod guard and inmate alike. Behind those eyes is the big pile of shit that's been building here since they laid the first cornerstone. I see it all so clearly, a stain of evil on this place which once might have been beautiful. Behind me, the sun continues to set. It won't be a long one. Around us, the shadows expand. You won't live forever, I say, finding a power I had not known before. There were horrible things in this place. I saw them. I was a part of them. At the time, I swore it was impossible not to be, but I remember better. I realize now why this specter took the form of Winston, because, of all the bastards, he was the one I was never certain deserved it. Oh, I told him what to do. I beat his face to a pulp with my baton, but it wasn't because of some crime he committed on the outside. It was always for inside reasons, which, once you were here a little while, had nothing to do with the outside. Most often you'd hit them for disrespect, which could be anything. One time I hit Winston because he was staring at a flower when he should have been staring at me. Another time I think I hit him because I wanted to. The realization stirs what little of lunch remains in my gut. Later, Winston gave that flower to one of the girls. I hit him for that too. I look back at the ghost, I see Winston's face there, and I understand. You're not going to live forever, I say. Even the largest pile of shit can eventually be shoveled away, can be reclaimed by the dirt. It just takes a lot more men like Winston, and a whole lot less men like me. Maybe not, says the spirit. Its grin is malicious. The cruelty of an old man beating his grandson in chess over and over without bothering to teach him the game. But it's going to be a real long time. Look at that, I think. Even the ghosts here have become philosophers. And then I laugh, a full belly laugh that sparks up into the dark and holds the sunset up just a moment longer. See, the joke was on the shit pile because, while it may live so long that it might as well be forever, it was going to live its whole life in a cell. Good luck, I say, not sure if I'm saying it to the ghost or if I was saying it to everything else, to the earth that it might reclaim this place, to myself that I might keep my mind, or to the rest of the human race that we might one day learn to clean up our shit. I turn around and walk away. Nothing more the ghost can say will have power over me. My mama was wrong. I ain't gonna spend the rest of my life in jail. This piece is called The Blizzard. The blizzard seemed endless. There appeared in the distance a flame, small but strong against the winds. There sat a figure, so bundled in furs that no part of them was visible, and the pilgrim was unsure if the stranger were alive. As he approached, the pilgrim saw the bundle move, and though he recognized it for what it was, he continued anyway. "May I share your fire, though I have nothing to give?" asked the pilgrim. "Yes," said his shadow, its voice low but clear through the winds. "But you must tell me a story while you do." The pilgrim thought this a small price, though he was not sure he knew any stories of worth, and he sat down on a log across from the shadow. He stretched his hands towards the fire and was warmed. "Tell me a story," said the shadow, and when the pilgrim searched the other's face, he found nothing. The pilgrim did not know what to say, and there was but one story he knew well. Once there was a stone. It thought it was strong and would live forever, so it rolled and turned on, but the stone began to erode. Pieces fell off. It got bumps that would not heal. Scared, the stone reached out, asking what was to be done, and many of the other stones said the same thing. "Grow still," they said, "for a rolling stone gathers no moss." So the stone grew still. It let the world roll over it day by day, till moss grew all along its surface. Years passed, rolled over as easily as the stone had once done, and the world began to grow around the stone until one day the stone realized the moss it had let grow made new cracks on its surface, and that its shape was smaller than it had once been. Again the stone was scared. It knew that if it stayed this way it would die, so it shook off its moss and tried to roll again. Maybe it worked, maybe it didn't, but one day that stone crumbled to dust, and it was gone. The pilgrim's mouth was parched from the telling, and he opened it to catch some of the snow on his tongue. "That was a good story," said the shadow. They sat in silence a little longer, and as they did, the warmth of the fire grew lesser, and the howl of the cold crept further in. "Now I will tell a story," said the shadow. The pilgrim drew closer, both to the fire and to that low voice. "Long ago, the sun and the moon fell in love. Their love was fierce, but it was also impossible, for when they were together, half the world burned and the other half froze. Things could not go on this way, and so the world, all its life, was put between them, keeping them apart forever. The moon and the sun were devastated, as lovers often are, but they were wise enough to know their separation would continue as long as they lived, that they would both have to roll over the earth, eternally chasing each other. Alone, each made an expression of their misery and their love. Sun made the sunset, for its passion is always changing, always brilliant, and always visible. Moon made the stars, the small lights in the darkness which come together in patterns, offering hope to those who pay attention. For in these creations they made gifts for not only each other, but also for all who dare to seek the heavens, eternal gifts that will last as long as there is one to witness them. That is my story." "That is a good story," said the pilgrim. "Much better than my story." The shadow shook its head. "No, both are good stories. Both are true stories. Both are part of the story." "The story?" The shadow smiled. The pilgrim wasn't sure how he knew, but he did. "Yes," said the shadow, "the story. The story that contains all other stories." "And which story is that?" asked the pilgrim. But when he looked up, his shadow was gone. There was no log and no fire, only the cold. The pilgrim rose and continued on his way. The blizzard seemed endless. Red blood. Red blood. Cut thumbs on shitty card sleeves in the locker bay, slinging older brother's cards and the unfound limits of our dreams. Blue. Skies, Carolina containment, and broken eyes of people we didn't know how to talk to, never knowing why. Green, singlet, stretched over growing veins, being told there's beauty in pain, scared by our own hate. Brown, pews, little troughs and familiar faces, disconnected, adrift, beyond understanding. A soul hangs alone, small and proud. Black, nights, soft glow of my phone screen, the world outside seeping in, wide but contained, something else. White, walls, everywhere. I remember all the colors, swirled in the awkward, amateurish palette, probably one made of summer sweat, arrogant insecurity, and maps of where I went to school crumbled into that hazy labyrinth of memory. All the colors are there, ready to be used, beautiful and agonizing and deserving of the canvas, but it's red I think of the most. Red, blood. No relation, no palms cut and pressed together, another piece almost left behind, the best piece, my favorite piece, which shines, not because any of us found each other, that might have been circumstance, but because we stuck together despite all the bullshit, despite growing up, despite life. Despite lightsabers not existing and Spider-Man not really being in New York and life being a whole lot more mundane than we expected, with all the pain reduced from dramatics to nothing more than infinite little pricks that open up the holes your soul starts to bleed out of if you don't keep your good eye on it. Still. Because at some point, when no one else was looking, maybe during those conversations in front of the East Building before heading to our cars, maybe in our dreams, we took out our blood and mixed it into a bowl and gave each of us back a share of the new concoction. You, my friends, ignore everyone else. I'm speaking to you now, even if you aren't here. You know who you are. Ignore the observers. I have to let them in to watch. I'm sorry, but it's what I do. I hope you understand. My friends, those of us who mixed our blood together, I love you. You are my blood, which keeps me beating and full of life.
My on Mondays is brought to you by Ming Studios, a contemporary art space and international artist residency program in Boise, Idaho. For more information about Ming's programming, or if you'd like to participate in My on Mondays, you can visit our website at mingstudios.org. We'll be back next Monday.